My name is Scott Edwards.
And I am Chantal Edwards.
So it was back in 2009. I came here for the summers with my family to Braeside, and Chantal just got a part-time job at the pool as a lifeguard. And so I visit the pool quite often, and she was a new employee, and Dad, or Ray, was the director at Braeside. So I got to know pretty much all the employees that were working, and I didn't know Chantal. So I started a conversation while she was working, and my first impressions were, this girl does not like to talk.
I did not like him. First time I met him, I thought he was really annoying and he was asking ridiculous questions. And then I remember finding out later that he was the director's son, and I was like, shoot, I should have been nicer to him.
She still had a boyfriend, and I wasn't interested or anything. So we got to know each other just through conversation. She was a little nicer to me the next year. And then,
since he was the boss's son, I thought I'd better.
Yeah, sure. And then we went another whole year, and then 2011, she was single, and I didn't know. She said she gave me signs, but
I did. I gave him signs.
I didn't know. I had no idea. I was clueless.
And he's like, why didn't you tell me?
I was like,
I need
to be the first person you tell. And she's like, well, next time I'll let you know, which next time was me. So we talked while I was in school until April. And then April 29th, I got home. I got home, and she actually text messaged me and said, hey, when are you getting home? And so we hung out, I think the next day.
Yeah, something like that.
For the first time.
And that's when we went on our first date.
And that was our first date. Yeah.
Hangout date.
Hangout. I like to call it hangout. She likes to call it date.
It was a date.
So
that's why I like to call it that. Okay, our first date was on a Sunday night, I believe. I think it was a really nice day because the majority of it we spent it outside.
From my end, the night before, I set it up through text message. But the night before, my muffler kind of fell off my car. And so I had to use Corinne's car to pick her up on the first date, which is kind of weird. You're using your little sister's car to pick her up. But
I didn't know the difference.
She didn't know. But I remember pulling up to her house, and she came out. She was wearing a pink shirt with khaki shorts.
No, I don't think so.
Capris?
I think I was wearing jeans.
Yeah. And I remember the pink shirt.
So we went to Dairy Delight. It was fun. What else did we do? We drove around Paris, and he took me to like all his different parks and stuff.
Yeah, I worked for the county, so I had to do all the parks in Paris. And so I took her around to a bunch of the trails that I groomed and that I maintained. And we just went for a walk, and then we went back to Norfolk, Simcoe, where Chantal grew up, and she showed me like her public school.
Oh yeah.
Where you got your grad dress.
Prom dress.
And then I think I just dropped you off.
Yeah. No. That was first date.
That was our first date.
And it was fun. And I think he asked me out for a second date as I was exiting the vehicle on our first date.
I did. I said, that was fun. We should do it again sometime. And then you said, I'm busy this day. And I said, well, let's do it sometime that day.
I said, maybe. I'll call you.
No, you didn't. So, she's acting tough right now. I don't know why. But, so we agreed to go on another date. And that's how we started kind of dating.
It was perfect.
It was awesome. But the second time I came over, I had to knock on her door. She didn't come out to see me. And at their house, they have a front door that no one uses and a back door that everyone uses. But to the newbie,
he came to the front door, and my parents and I are there, like, laughing at him. We're like, look at this guy coming to the front door.
But to any other normal person, you go to their front door. So I'm knocking on the front door. She comes out. She's like, "We don't use this door." Oh. And she has big windows at the front of her house. And so I had to do the walk of shame back past the windows, and her whole family's in the kitchen, living room laughing at me. It is, oh. But other than that, I think everything went smoothly.
Yeah.
How we actually officially started dating, like,
I don't want to talk about it.
boyfriend, girlfriend, is May 2-4, Brayside again, had Pitch and Praise. And after that night, we went to a bonfire, and then we were just sitting out on the back porch, and we kind of made it official. By asking, do you want to see each other? By saying, would you like to go out with me? She said, sure, or something along those lines. And I said, sweet.
My heart wants nothing more.
Yeah.
My favorite memory of us is when I visited you in Florida in October. It was around Halloween. It was a fun time. We went to the beach, we went to the aquarium. It was awesome weather. We carved pumpkins. That's my favorite memory.
Mine would also be when she visited me in Florida, which sounds like I'm copying, but it actually is. I was at school, I was pretty lonely, and we had a good time, and I feel like we connected, and that would be my favorite time.
And I got to meet Brussels.
Brussels is a little dog that I have. It's like what is it?
It's like a porcelain figurine.
And every time we Skyped, I would bring Brussels into the little shot.
He's just there.
Or I would place him in the back. But he's now, our grandparents gave up Brussels to us for our wedding, so.
Along with
other stuff. But, yeah.
Just the dog. My favorite characteristics of you is that you're funny, and that you're caring, you're easy to be around. I just like being around you, and it makes time go by really fast, if that makes sense.
And my favorite characteristic about you is the way that you are also funny, and the way that you nurture and care for other people.
Thanks.
You're welcome. My favorite feature about you is your eyes and your smile.
I just say a favorite feature? Your kneecaps. Because they're big.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But his nose, I like his nose for real. Just a perfect little nose. Give him a profile.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
I knew sometime when I went on the trip to visit him in Florida, it helped. The experience of him being away helped me realize that I wanted him with me, and he makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside.
Chantel actually makes me feel like the luckiest person.
Aw, now I feel bad for saying mine. I'm the luckiest too.
Really lucky. She makes me feel like a better person, and I like that she is funny and nurturing. I was also in Florida when I started to think, okay, this could be serious. I actually had somewhat of a job offer in Florida, and so I called Mom and Dad, and we just started talking, and I said, if I take this job, what about Chantel? And so I think that's what got the ball rolling, and then from there it just escalated. And when she came down to Florida, that was kind of the deciding point that this was serious. And when I got home, is when I decided to get the ring. After she visited me in Florida at school, we started seriously talking about marriage and the idea of marriage. And so when I got home, right around Christmas time, I got whatever money I had left, and I purchased a engagement ring. I think it was like the 28th of January, or of December. And I don't think she had any idea that I actually purchased a ring, because when we talked about it, we were talking more further in the future. So I had to ask Chantel's parents. I wanted to ask Chantel's parents, mostly her dad, just because it's traditional, and I think your parents would have... I wouldn't have felt right without asking your parents. She's the first one in her family to get married. And so it's a big deal. And I remember I got the ring. Again, I wasn't planning on proposing for a long time. So the Wednesday before the Saturday that I proposed, Chantel was at school in Toronto. And so I figured, you know what, this is the best time. She's not going to know why I was at her house. Why would I just be randomly at her house? And I remember sitting in the living room, in my living room with Corrine, and I was talking to her about it. I was like, should I do it? Should I go ask her dad? Like, this is insane. And she's like, just give him a call and say you're coming over, you're in the neighborhood. I was like, okay. And I believe I was pacing like nobody's business.
Yeah, Nate said you were.
But I was just, Nate was there too?
Yeah.
And I was just back and forth. And then at one point I was laying on the ground. I was so nervous to make that call. And so I called and he's like, it's Rick. And I go, hey, it's Scott. He's like, okay. I was like, could I come speak to you? He's like, yeah, sure, you can come at 7. And it was like 6:15, and it takes a half hour to get to her house. So I was like, okay. And so I hung up. I was like, I gotta go now. So I rushed to her house. I get there, her mom answers the door, and she's very open with her feelings. And she's
emotional.
She looked happy. And so I kind of figured they knew I was coming for a reason.
How often does he just stop in my ass?
So I walk up her little steps, and her dad came. He's like, hey, how's it going? And her mom's like, can I come? And I was like, yeah, sure, you can come too. And so they sat me down. They were sitting on one couch, and I was sitting on the other. I was really nervous at this point, and... So I was just about to start, and then her mom was like, could you just stop? I need to go get Kleenex. And so she went and got Kleenex, came back, which this whole time I'm just like feeling sick because I'm nervous, and it was just suspending it more.
It's like, wait, I need a water.
Yeah. And so I'm just sitting there, and so I said, I think you guys know why I'm here. And they said, yeah, we think we know why you're here. And I said, I love Chantel.
I really love your meatloaf.
I love Chantel, and I really want to marry her. I told them my true feelings for her. And they said, will this be soon? And I said, it might be soon, or it might not be, but count on it being soon. So after I explained my feelings for Chantel, her dad just asked, do I love God? And do you love my daughter? And I said yes and yes. And he said, then I give you my blessings. And your mom said, yep, I feel the same way. And 3 days later, we were engaged. I was planning on proposing in the spring or summertime. But I just decided to do it January 12th. I was going to do it on the 11th, but I believe you were busy, so I decided to do it on the 12th. And so on that day, I went to her house.
It was a really nice day for January. It was beautiful.
It was, yeah. I was planning for winter, and one of the plans was to do it like in the snow. But then all the snow melted, and it was like really nice out some odd day, so we went for a bike ride in the middle of January, and I told Chantel that I was going to take her to a movie that she really wanted to see. So you were getting ready thinking we're going to the movies.
Yeah.
I was kind of freaking out. I wore really.
I didn't notice at all though.
I was wearing really not nice clothes, so like she didn't have any suspicion. And after the bike ride, I said, "Okay, get ready, and we got to be out of here by 3:45." And so I remember sitting in your living room, just on the piano bench, and you were getting ready, and I was like sweating. I was so nervous. And you're like, okay, I'm ready. And I was like, oh, it's here. I got to drive. So I was driving the whole way. We were making conversation, but the whole time I was just, this is crazy.
Honestly, didn't know. You hit it well.
Thank you. And so I had to change the clothes actually in the trunk. So the whole plan was to blindfold her and take her to the park. I pulled into a parking lot, the arena parking lot where I worked. And I gave you a call. I was like, hey, Mom and Dad told you to call between 2 and 4, but it was already after 4, so that didn't make any sense. And so as I'm on the phone with Chris, I'm thinking, this is crazy. I have the scarf that I'm going to blindfold her with. How am I going to just pull this out and say, put it on? But I did. I just pulled it out and said, okay, here, put this on. I have a surprise for you.
No, you're like, do you trust me? Do you trust me?
She puts it on, thankfully, and for a bit I just drove in like a circle and a figure 8, just to,
Did you?
Yeah, just to confuse her. And then I took off and down. The Bean Park was about a 2-minute drive from the arena, and she at one point thought I was gonna throw her down a ravine or something. And she's like, I don't want to go in the trunk. And I said, in my mind, I'm going, why would I ever put you in a trunk?
Like, I'm not getting in the trunk.
I was like, yeah, but now that she brought it into my mind, I was like, you have to get in the trunk. That's part of the surprise.
I know, I was panicked.
She's like, I don't want to go in the trunk. I was like, you have to go in the trunk. So I got out. I said, you have to wait here. I just have to do something first. So while she was blindfolded, I went to the back of the car and I got changed into nicer clothes. I got nice jeans and then my nice winter jacket I put on.
And I was nervous when you left the car because I'm sitting here like, when's he coming back?
And I grabbed her hand and I took her out to the end of the little path walkway that I set up.
I honestly had no idea where I was because all I could see was the grass.
And then I ran over to the edge and I said, okay, you can undo your blindfold. And
I was like, ah! And then trotted down the aisle to you.
I told her my feelings. I had something written out on my phone, but that all went to...
She says he forgot it, but he did a really good job. I couldn't tell.
That went out to the middle of nowhere when I was standing there in the moment, and I think I just blabbered for 5 minutes or so.
Which is not unusual.
True. And so I got down on one knee, and she said, yes, of course, I would love to marry you. And that was our engagement.
Yeah.
Our wedding day was really special to me and very memorable. It was July 26, 2013, and now we are married. And it was a beautiful day.
Beautiful
almost
day
perfect.
for July.
We had our wedding outside at Bean Park, and I wasn't really freaking out or nervous until about 3:15, and then I just
We got
lost
nervous
it.
at the exact same point, but we didn't know until after.
Yeah.
I was so nervous at 3:15 too. Our
And-
ceremony was at 4, that's why
Yes.
3:15.
Yes. And then the ceremony went off perfectly. Mark did a good job, and she looks beautiful.
There were bugs up my dress, so that sucks.
Yeah, because it was outside, all the bugs were around. The pictures look amazing, and hope to see them soon. The reception food was great.
It was a great day. I have nothing but good memories.
It was at Paris Golf and Country Club, and I remember waking up and thinking, this is a good day.
Today's the day.
Today's the day.